He was just a night guard at a hospital, underpaid, overlooked, invisible to most. But what he uncovered behind locked doors and forged records would expose a chilling secret hiding in plain sight. This is a story of a man who risked everything to speak the truth and the deadly consequences that followed. Derek Miles was a 42-year-old former Army sergeant turned hospital security guard, a quiet man with a love for jazz and old detective novels. After serving 2 tours overseas, he returned home to a quieter life, or so he thought. He took a job at St. Raymond's Medical Center, a mid-sized hospital in a bustling city. His shift ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., the graveyard shift, where the corridors were silent and the fluorescent lights buzzed above his head. For a year, things were normal, or at least they seemed to be. But in March of last year, Derek began noticing strange activities during his rounds. Things that didn't make sense. Ambulances arriving without lights or sirens. Surgeons entering the building well past midnight without logging their visits. And stretchers being wheeled into a restricted wing of the hospital that was supposedly under renovation. He was told not to ask questions. But Derek had seen enough war to know when something was off. At first, he thought it might be drug smuggling. That would have been bad enough. But what he uncovered was far worse. It began with a woman. Her name was Linda Reyes. She was a single mother of 2, brought in after a car crash. Derek remembered seeing her crying in the hallway, clutching her side in pain, alone. Her chart said she was stable, minor internal bleeding, but nothing life-threatening. But the next morning, her name had vanished from the system. No record of discharge, no transfer. And when Derek asked a nurse about her, the response was cold. "You must be mistaken. There's no Linda Reyes here." But Derek wasn't mistaken. He never forgot faces. So he did what most wouldn't. He started digging. He copied security footage, cross-referenced logs, even bribed a janitor for access to the sub-basement. What he found would haunt him forever. The hospital had a hidden wing, operational, not under construction as claimed. It was never on the blueprints, and only accessible with a special ID badge. Inside were surgical lights, storage refrigerators, and thick metal tables. It was a full-blown operating suite, but the patients were never conscious, and they never came out. March 19th. I saw them do it. A young man, maybe 25, Hispanic. They rolled him in at 2:41 a.m. He was breathing, barely. I heard them say, "We only need 1 kidney and the liver." By 4:15, he was gone. The hospital was running an illegal organ harvesting ring. They targeted the poor, the undocumented, the homeless, people who wouldn't be missed, people whose deaths wouldn't raise questions. Their bodies were disposed of as unclaimed, and death certificates were forged. Derek knew he had to go public, but he was careful. He compiled everything, photos, videos, recordings, personnel names, and sent them anonymously to the local media and the state attorney's office. He thought once the evidence was out, justice would follow. He was wrong. Within days, St. Raymond's issued a statement denying all allegations. They claimed the whistleblower was a disgruntled former employee with a mental illness. Derek was fired the same day. His apartment was ransacked, his phone tapped, his bank accounts frozen. And worse, 2 of the nurses he had spoken to, both young women, died in what police called apparent suicides. But Derek wasn't done. He went into hiding and uploaded his files to a secure server. Then he appeared on an independent journalist podcast under a fake name. Sam. His voice was altered, but his message was chilling. He described doctors being paid under the table by criminal organizations. He claimed the hospital received $25,000 for every kidney, $90,000 for a liver, and over $200,000 for a matched heart. And the list of names involved? It wasn't just rogue doctors. There were law enforcement officials, city council members, even someone in the mayor's office. Derek disappeared. His last known location was a motel on the outskirts of town. The security camera in the parking lot was mysteriously erased. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. But then, just as the trail went cold, a USB drive was delivered to a reporter at the Sentinel, a small local paper that had been following the story from the beginning. Inside the drive was everything. Uncut footage, names, financial records, internal emails, audio of surgeries, photos of victims, even a list titled Harvest Ready, with patient names, blood types, and assigned dates. The story exploded. The national media picked it up. The FBI was forced to investigate. 4 doctors were arrested. The hospital was shut down. Several city officials resigned or vanished. And a grand jury began preparing a case. But Derek? Still missing. This wasn't just about money. It was about power. About who gets to live and who gets left behind. Derek was a hero, and I believe he paid the ultimate price for telling the truth. The organ trafficking ring at St. Raymond's was one of the largest ever uncovered in the United States. Over 60 victims were identified through cross-matching medical records and anonymous morgue reports. But officials believe there may be hundreds more. And while several perpetrators are now behind bars, many remain free, shielded by power, connections, or silence. This story is dedicated to the victims whose names were erased, and to the one man who refused to look away. Derek Miles didn't have a badge, a law degree, or a platform. He had a flashlight and a conscience. And when faced with evil hidden in white coats and hospital walls, he chose to stand up. In a world where silence is rewarded and truth is punished, be like Derek. Ask questions, demand answers, and never underestimate the power of one voice in the dark.